Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's been a while, I've been away for a little while, but I thought I would bring you back something that started out quite simple and turned into something quite glamorous and dramatic. So yeah, it turned out really lovely. So if you would like to see how I managed this, I may have to do a separate video for this. But if you'd like to see how I did the makeup, please keep watching. If you'd like to see something about the hair, how to do the hair, leave a little comment below. Okay, thanks guys. So as you'll have seen, my audio didn't work again. So I'm going to have to do another voiceover. So I am starting off with clean skin. I've got lash extensions on here, which were a mare to get off, but the lash extensions mean that I don't have to use falsies. My skin's quite clear at the moment, which is nice. It makes a welcome change. And as you can see, my face is a bit paler than my body, so I'm going to use a foundation that's going to match me. But first, I'm going to use the moisture mist just to put some moisture back in my skin because it's dry and has nothing on it. It'll help keep my foundation nice and dewy as well. So a few spritz of that, and I'm going to let it dry into my skin a bit. My skin was also probably quite dehydrated here because I had been at my work do the night before, and yeah, alcohol is dehydrating, to say the least. So I'm sitting babbling away to myself while I'm letting that settle in, but the audio is too awful to leave in, so I'm not entirely sure what I'm saying, but I think I'm deciding what kind of foundation I want to go for. So what am I going for? Yep, having to do a dark foundation because I'm wearing fake tan. Okay, Sarah. No idea what I'm saying there, but hey. So I'm using my beauty blender sponge, and I'm using probably about 2 pumps. That's about my average for any foundation that I use, unless it's a squeezy bottle, in which case it's a sort of pea-sized amount, and then I see how I go. I didn't see what foundation I used there, so am I going to tell you? I love how I'm guessing as much as you guys are right now. The joy of filming this in March and then not doing the voiceover and editing it until April. That still looks a bit light, but I think that one oxidizes. So no idea what foundation that is, but I stuck it on my beauty blender and on my face, dolloped it around first, and then spread it out with the beauty blender, just patting it in rather than dragging, because if you pat it in, the foundation will stay in place, whereas if you drag it, you'll move the foundation around your face, which isn't normally a desirable result. I think I used a slightly paler foundation actually, because this originally started off being a more of a pin-up style look. It didn't quite end up that way. The hair, I think, was what made the look more pin-up, but the makeup ended up being a bit different to what I had set out to do, but I'm sure that happens to me nearly every time I do my makeup. So just spreading it up into my hairline. The strange thing is, no matter whether I've bleached up my roots to be platinum blonde or whether I have dark roots, it doesn't seem to matter. You cannot hide foundation in your hair. You just have to kind of blend it in as best you can and try not to coat your hair in it. Although when you're platinum, it has the added bonus of making your hair look ginger, which is always wonderful for a platinum blonde. So I'm just going over my eyelids as well. to get the skin on my eyelids to match the rest of my face, because I think if anything at all I'll use just concealer to prime my eyelids in this, but we'll see. I actually had to trim down those lash extensions because they were ridiculously long to start with. They were lovely and fluttery, but not practical at all. And this is me showing you my double chin in order to illustrate the blending down foundation onto your neck. There's nothing worse than having a sharp-edged line where your foundation stops, especially if it's a different colour to the rest of your jaw. Which mine probably would be at this stage because I'm all fake tanned up. There we go. Maybelline Superstay. And I'll list the shade down below. It's probably a warm ivory or something from memory. You know, you're only 6 minutes into the video before I actually show you what foundation I'm using. But you live and learn. I seem to have been on a constant learning curve since I started these videos in terms of trying to get my sound right and try and make it work, and I have by no means succeeded yet, but I'm trying at least. Okay, so I'm using I think it's Maybelline as well, Age Erase, something like that. I'll list it down below as well, concealer. And it's the nice one with a sponge on top, and that is in the lightest shade, although if you're very pale skin tone, I don't think this would work for you because it's quite, yeah, I'm showing you a comparison there of the concealer I would use in the winter and had used before. It's heavier coverage, which is the Collection 2000 lightest concealer, and then the Maybelline one, and there is a distinct difference in the colours. The Maybelline one is darker even in the lightest shade. It's still quite dark, so if you're very, very pale and don't tan, or fake tan, then the Maybelline might be a bit dark for you. So I'm putting that in all the usual spots, under the eyes, and the other one. And you sort of take it into a V shape. It just increases the area you're highlighting. Centre of the forehead, top lip, sides of the nose, because I find I need extra coverage there. And I think, did I do down the middle of my nose? It looks like I have. I'm just going to say I have. I think I've done down the middle of my nose too. So any features you want to bring forward, you highlight with a lighter colour. Anything you want to push back, you darken with your contour or bronzer. I'm going to have no shame and sit and eat a chewit while I'm doing this. No shame whatsoever. So again, taking the pointy end of my beauty blender and blending that out. I'm not taking it too far into the foundation because you don't want it all to look the same colour. But you just want to make sure there's like a smooth gradient. And there's me picking the foundation off my lip bar. I think I'm still wearing the same one where I have a little gem at the end of it and it just doesn't sparkle as nicely whenever you've got foundation all over the gem. Okay, what are we doing next? Next we are doing powder under the eyes, talc in my case. Although since I've just come back from Portugal and I don't think talc is going to work for me. It looked really pale when I did it this morning, but here it works. I have to see if banana powder works. I normally find it too dark. So yeah, smallish fluffy brush because I'm just really going to set under my eyes. My skin's been that good recently, I'm not bothered if it looks a bit oily because I haven't really got that many spots. So just set under my eyes, centre of the forehead, nose and chin. Not necessarily in that order. I must have been feeling really chatty this day, despite being heavy hungover. Big powder brush. Oh, I am going to do the rest of my face with banana powder. Okay, banana powder, big fluffy brush, rest of the face. Surprising even myself. And it's just really a light dusting, you're not sort of setting it on your skin and baking the way you would under your eyes. I don't even do this on a daily basis anymore because I'm too lazy, but I obviously felt like doing it here. As you can see, the pixie's growing out as well, which is annoying me no end, but I am determined to persevere. I am determined to have a ponytail. Although my hair did actually look quite well once I put all the pin curls in it, but that's really time consuming. You just cannot do that in the morning. Do not have time to do that in the morning. I am not a morning person. Most of the ones that work with me and my husband and my family know not to speak to me before I've had my first cup of tea. So I think I just dusted off whatever excess there was again with that fluffy brush that I used for the banana powder, and now I am going to draw in my brows, which are reasonably non-existent. Actually, they look alright there. Why do they look alright there? I think it was because I already had makeup on at that point in the day. And I think when I got the lashes done, I got the brows tinted as well. Much of a difference it made. But I am using my Eyelure brow pomade in the shade Blonde, which is actually really nice. It's cool toned. I find a lot of blonde eyebrow pencils for some reason have warmth in them, so they tend to make me look gingery. As you can tell by the commentary, not a fan of ginger. Never have been. Not that I don't think it doesn't look nice on other people, but just not personally for me. So taking a small angled brush and a little bit of the pomade at a time. You don't want to start with a whole load and just overload your brows, because it's not a good look. So I do the underside of my brows first, define the line underneath my brow, define the sort of shape I want, and then I go from sort of a third in from the edge of the top of my brows and do from there till the end. And I like a quite angled brow at the moment. I, in my infinite wisdom, decided to shave off the tails of my brows, and I think they had just sort of grown back in at this stage, but for some reason since they've grown back in they have like an angled end to them, which has been working quite well for me. I've been going for a bolder brow, which I never would have done in the past. So just taking whatever's left on the brush after you've done the two lines on the top and the bottom and brushing it through the rest of the brow. I normally turn the brush on its side and use the width of the brush because it's just about right to do that. Excuse me. And just sort of darken up the rest of my brow because my roots are quite dark in this video. I've bleached my hair since then, so they're very light again. I still use the same colour brow product. But my roots are quite dark there. I think I put a grey dye through them. And this is me still just kind of trying to darken up the fronts of the brows but keep them fluffy. I don't like a defined, blocky front of the brow. You can see the difference that makes. It's like one side of me is evil and plotting, the other side is very innocent and naive. But it's alright, we're about to match them up. Same again on the other side. Go in the underneath, defining the line. And a little bit of product at the time, using sort of smallish strokes. It's like they say whenever you're learning to drive and steering around a corner, small corrections. The same goes for your eyebrows. Small corrections, ladies. Never taken the time to appreciate how rare it looks when you're halfway through doing something like eyebrows. That's so important for your facial expressions in general. And there's me just sort of smoothing the excess product through the brows with your fingers, which is a very technical skill. It takes a long time to learn how to do that. And just again going through the brow and using the excess product to fill it in. Yeah, and that's what I said there. Sisters, not twins, is what I said there. I'm going to eat another chew it again. Sitting here eating sweeties with the dog sleeping and snoring at my feet. Doing a voiceover for a video. If that's not a rockstar Sunday night, I don't know what is. No idea what I'm saying here. Not a clue. What we're going to do now. It's a shame the audio didn't work on this as well, because I think I was on a roll when it came to being witty and entertaining in this video. What am I doing with scissors? Sarah, what are you doing with scissors? Ah, okay. Yep. We are going to use some medical tape, because it's softer on your skin than normal tape, although I would still sort of take the stickiness off from the side of your hand before I use it, if I were you. Nobody wants to pull their sensitive skin on the sides of their eyes. So I got 2 strips, and I am going to use these at the sides of my eyes, at the sort of angle that your wing would go. And I'm going to do my wing with eyeshadow rather than eyeliner, because I wanted a softer look. I still wanted to go for a pin-up, but I wanted to go for a softer look. Didn't quite turn out that way, but hey. And everybody's eyes are different shapes, so you just kind of adjust them until they look roughly even. Everyone has that one side of your face where your wing just goes shoop, and it's done and it's beautiful, and the other side just doesn't happen. I think the answer is that we need to evolve into being Cyclops. I think this is the way forward, just for the sake of doing eyeliner. But until then, you can use the tape method. The tape method even works for eyeliner as well, but I'm not doing that in this video. I'm just using darker eyeshadow. So I'm using the Techniques Mega Mattes palette, and I think I switch over to another palette as well at some stage, but for now starting with the Techniques, because I think I have a September Rose palette, which is a dupe of the Morphe Warm 35W palette, but the September Rose palette that I got that's the dupe doesn't really have too many light coloured shadows for setting your eyelids and using to blend. So I think I'm going to use a yellowy, oh good leaf, we are going to prime the eyelids. Gosh, we're doing well. So using the W7 eyeshadow primer, which I just stick on very technically with my finger. I find it blends a lot nicer and smoother whenever you stick it on with your finger. It's got something to do with the texture of your finger and the warmth of your finger against your skin. And it just provides like a sort of sticky base to make your eyeshadow last longer and not crease. And especially when you're doing what I'm attempting to do here and doing a wing with eyeshadow, you don't really want the eyeshadow to kind of blow off your eyes halfway through the day. Although this is late afternoon, I'm filming this at this point to go out for dinner in the evening, but for a night out or anything as well, it's a bit of a requisite. You know, it's a helpful thing to do to keep your makeup in place. So, are we going to go back to the eyeshadow? Again, exclaiming over the flutteriness of the eyelashes at this point. They were a bugger to get off. Right. Going in with the quite yellow toned light shade from the Mega Mattes palette and using that with a big fluffy brush to set the eye area. Now I know I've put primer down, but it is a good idea, and I've done it both ways. Unless you're using glitter or metallics, set your eye primer with a matte eyeshadow the same colour as your skin, or just a light eyeshadow, light matte eyeshadow. Otherwise any darker colours you use will stick and be harder to blend. So the lights of your transitions will be smoother if you put powder over your primer, even though it doesn't make sense. So I'm going in with the light brownie taupe colour in the same palette there as my transition colour, and I'm just using that in the crease, but with the same big fluffy brush, so it's quite diffused. But I'm just putting that in the crease for blending purposes and because I like the shape. You know, I say you use the darker colour as the contour for you can do that with your transition colour in your eyes. So I'm now going in with the darkest colour in that palette. I don't think the colours have names, but just the darkest colour and a small angled brush. It's the same one I use for my eyebrows. I probably didn't clean it, which is really clarty, but I don't care. It's just on my eyes. It doesn't really make a huge difference when it's on yourself. And I'm just using the long edge of that brush to stamp the dark eyeshadow against the lash line. It's a nice trick. Instead of dragging and diffusing all the colour, just press and stamp it. I'm just showing you the end of the brush there to show what it's like. And it's good if you don't have a steady hand or you're nervous about doing a wing. It's a really nice, easy, soft starting point to do it with eyeshadow instead of eyeliner. And it means if you muck it up, it's easier to fix. So all I'm doing here is using the angled brush, stamping it on, and then following my the shape of my eye out to my tape. And it doesn't matter how messy you are on the tape because it'll peel off and it'll be a lovely sharp defined line. You just sort of have to worry about the general shape matching on each side. I pull some really awesome faces. I'm short-sighted in my right eye, so I can see bog all whenever I close my left eye, so I think I squint more. What am I using? Small fluffy brush. I think it's a pencil brush actually. Yep, pencil brush. Not a small fluffy brush, but a pencil brush. It has slightly more rigid bristles and the dark colour again, and I'm going back in to darken that wing. And very technically again using my fingers to diffuse it. So I'm just dragging that along the edge of the tape. You know, you can go as little as or as far up the tape as you want to. You can either go for baby wings or the mother of all wings. I think here I'm discussing that I want to take the dark colour and change the look completely from being a pin-up and put the dark colour also into my crease. So first I'm using the small fluffy brush. Oh, that was a lot of eyeshadow, Sarah, but hey, it blends out. So I must have taken more eyeshadow on that brush and done a V into my crease. And a wing or a V, both of them are actually pretty good at lifting or giving the optical illusion that you're lifting the outside edges of your eyes and, excuse me, a cat eye shape. So using a small fluffy brush to both put the colour down and to blend it across, and going back in with the big fluffy brush to blend it out a bit. I'm pretty sure that that being my right eye, your left, had more eyeshadow on it than the other one, so I think I had to even them up. You're getting a really good view of my messy shells behind me. I have bought a backdrop since then, so I filmed a couple of special effects videos with a backdrop and they look quite good. Ah, we sussed that we put too much dark eyeshadow on this eye, so we went in with one of those little eyeshadow brushes, you know, the little pad things that you get free with eyeshadows and that you would never ever contemplate using if you're like me and have a million other fluffy brushes to do it for you. Well, they're actually quite good for packing on colour, and they're really good for when you've put too much dark colour down and you need to put some light colour back on and bring it back up, so that's what I did. And I think you used, probably not the yellowy shade, but one of the lighter shades to do this, because you sort of needed a bit more, you know, the lightness of the lighter eyeshadow to go over the dark and to bring it back up again. And that's me just saying, yeah, you don't use these normally for anything else, but they work quite well for this job. I have found a job for the much abhorred and loathed sponge eyeshadow things. I have to say, I think next time I'll just leave the tape on. It's very fetching, don't you think? And again, I'm diving off camera because I didn't have everything to hand that I needed. I am that well organised. What are we doing now, Sarah? I did do an awful lot of talking in this video, and I'm sure it was wonderful going by my facial expressions. But unfortunately, it just gets really, really fuzzy and I can't use it when it's the camera. And I haven't sussed out my microphone yet. Bronzer! So I'm actually using a bigger fluffy brush than I normally would, and just sort of putting the bronzer in the hollows of my cheeks. Bring some colour back into your face and contour at the same time. 2 birds, 1 stone. I don't know why I've still got the tape on the sides of my eyes. So we're going hollows of the cheeks and the top of the forehead. It kind of brings it all together instead of just looking like you've just got bronzer on your cheeks and nowhere else. And I'm taking a small fluffy brush, cleaned off of the dark eyeshadow, and a bit of bronzer to contour my nose slightly. A lot of the time I don't bother with that, but I thought, seeing as I was doing a dramatic look. I'm sorry. My dog has decided to wake up and look around and farted. Yeah. How much more fun is it going to be when we eventually have kids? Okay, we finally took the tape off our eyes. I'm probably going to have to re-record this. This has turned into an absolute farce. Right, what we're doing, we are taking the darker eyeshadow, yep, and joining up under the lash line. With a pin-up look, I wouldn't normally do this, but the look kind of evolved and changed as I did it, so I decided this is what I wanted to do. And try not to flick the eyeshadow into your eye, I think is what I said there, which I normally end up doing spectacularly, and then I look like someone's punched me in the eye. So again, just blending it under your eye, under your lash line, until you're satisfied. It's a very shrewd look. Very shrewd and calculating. Does anyone wonder my husband looks scared when I look at him like that? Is that too bad, actually? You do have to be pretty steady-handed to take it right up to the edge. It's doable. You know, I did this after a glass and a half of Prosecco last night, and it took me half as much time and effort. And as far as I can tell, it looked fab. sure your fingers are clean when you're trying to take, when you're trying to tidy up your lip line, because if they're not and you smear it everywhere, you had it. You might as well start again. That's the thing about this particular version of this colour. It's supposed to be black. It's not black. It's very dark grey at a push, but you can still see my skin through it. Like, it's not massively heavy coverage, which is annoying because all the other ones I have are fab. So I may actually take gently black eyeliner. I might live to regret it, but we've tried. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I think I might be able to deal with it. Just maybe. I think I want to highlight the centre of my lips. And I think I've lined my lips crooked as well. I think my lips just are crooked to start with. Push the line out a bit. Do it little by little, because if you do too much it's harder to take off. Right, I have my nice goldy highlighter. I like warm toned highlighters. I'm going to stick my finger in it. And press it onto the centre of my lip. I think this stuff actually works better if you rub. But make sure your lip is dry before you do that. Yeah, this turned into a rather dramatic look. I may have to change the lips before I leave the house like this. So's not tough. I think we will do some highlighter and blush to top it all off. Just a nice MAC blush that has a gold shimmer through it. Because I was trying to go for like a pin-uppy style look. It totally didn't turn out that way, but that's okay. So, a bit of a blush to make up for that. Highlighter. And you know, I think what I want to do is I want to spritz my cheekbones before I take the highlighter to them. Oh yes, that turned out very pretty. Very dramatic, but very pretty. I should have done this last night. Hindsight's a wonderful thing. Okay, and same again, trick with your ring finger. And under the brow. Just under the arch to highlight it. And inner corners. Ooh. That's a nice highlight. I like that. Except it's all over my hands now. It's okay. I wash them. I think I'm pretty much finished with this. I'm going to go away and do my hair and do some nice sort of curls in it. It needs to dry it a bit more first actually, and I will come back and show you it again at the end. This is the finished look now that I've done my hair and everything. Now, the hair makes this look. The hair makes this a very definite pin-up look. I only wish I had done this with my hair last night, but I didn't have the tools with me to do so. And I didn't have a notion at the time of what I wanted to do with it, and now I'm slightly gutted because it turned out really beautifully. But all I did was put curling tongs through my hair with quite a small barrel because my hair is quite short. And then with bits that are really short, the likes of this, I took my straighteners and just curled it under, all the way around the back and the sides. The curls that I put in with the barrel, I pin curled them. I put pins in them and held them up until the rest of my hair was cool, and then sprayed it all with hairspray, let it all out, pulled through it with my fingers a bit and sprayed it with hairspray again. So along with the makeup, it does actually make it quite a glam pin-up look. I am going to have to change the lip before I go out this evening, because now with the hair and everything, I think it's a bit much for a casual dinner in Cabanas in Bangor. For me anyway, slightly hungover. I'm impressed I can do this with myself, slightly hungover. But yeah.